Chosen one, stop scrolling for a moment. Something is happening right now that you cannot see. Your name has been spoken in rooms you've never entered. Voices are arguing, decisions are being made. And somehow you are at the center of it. I know you've felt the weight lately, the isolation, the strange battles that came out of nowhere. People turned cold, doors closed without warning. It felt like the world quietly decided you didn't belong. But listen carefully. What looked like rejection was not the full story. While some doubted you, someone stood up and said something powerful. Wait, look again. They are the one. Yes, you. The one they underestimated. The one who survived what should have broken them. The one heaven refused to ignore. You thought you were losing everything. But what if this entire battle started because heaven already chose you? Chosen one, listen carefully. You thought the battles in your life were random. You thought the chaos came for no reason. The sudden betrayals, the strange resistance, the moments when everything seemed to fall apart at once. You asked yourself the same question again and again. Why is this happening to me? But what you did not see, what you could not see in the middle of the storm, was that none of it was random. Those battles were signals. They were evidence. Proof that something inside you was threatening the darkness around you. Long before you understood your purpose, the enemy recognized it. Long before you discovered your strength, the spiritual realm felt it. That is why the attacks came early. That is why the pressure felt heavier on you than on others. While others walked through life without resistance, you kept encountering walls. You tried to move forward, and something pushed back. You trusted people, and somehow they turned against you. You opened your heart, and it was wounded. There were seasons when it felt like life itself was fighting you. But chosen one, it was never life. It was the reaction of darkness to the light placed inside you. You carry something rare, something dangerous to the forces that thrive on fear, confusion, and brokenness. Your endurance threatens them. Your resilience threatens them. Even your survival threatens them. Because every time you refused to give up, every time you stood back up after being knocked down, every time you kept believing, even when nothing made sense, you proved that what is inside you cannot be easily destroyed. And that terrifies darkness. There were moments you almost quit. Moments when the weight felt unbearable. Moments when you wondered if you were simply cursed, if maybe life was not meant to work for you. But I was watching. Every tear, every sleepless night, every silent prayer you whispered when no one else understood. You thought you were barely surviving, but what you were actually doing was training. Every battle was building something inside you. Strength that cannot be faked. Wisdom that cannot be taught in comfort. Faith that only grows in fire. The pressure did not come to destroy you. It came to reveal you. Because the calling on your life is not ordinary. You were not created to blend into the background. You were not designed to live small, quiet and unnoticed. There is influence in your future. There is impact in your voice. There are people whose lives will change simply because you refuse to give up. And the darkness sensed that long ago. That is why the attacks came before the recognition. That is why the storms came before the elevation. But hear this clearly, chosen one. If the battles around you were proof of anything, they were proof that your life carries power. And the very fact that you are still standing today, after everything that tried to break you, means the darkness miscalculated. Because you did not fall, you are still here. And that alone proves your calling is stronger than the battles that came against it. Chosen one, I saw the moments that broke your heart. I saw the doors that closed without explanation, the conversations that suddenly changed tone, the people who once welcomed you slowly pulling away. You felt it, the distance, the coldness, the quiet rejection that no one wanted to talk about. And it hurt more than you ever admitted. Because you tried to belong, you tried to be understanding, you tried to hold relationships together, even when they were already slipping through your hands. There were nights when you asked yourself a painful question. Am I the problem? Did I fail somehow? Why do people keep leaving? Chosen one, listen to my voice now. That rejection was not failure, it was separation. Not punishment, preparation. You were trying to stay connected to places and people that could not travel where I am taking you. Your spirit carries an assignment, and not everyone is built to walk beside someone with that kind of calling. Some people liked the version of you that stayed quiet, the version that dimmed your light, the version that made others comfortable. But the moment your spirit began to grow, the moment your awareness began to rise, the moment your purpose started awakening, something changed. You no longer fit where you once belonged, and instead of understanding it, people called it distance. They called it pride. They called it change. But what they were really feeling was the shift of your destiny pulling you away. Chosen one, I had to separate you. Not because you were unworthy of love, but because your assignment requires clarity. And clarity cannot grow in environments that constantly misunderstand you. I know the loneliness that followed. I know the silence that filled spaces where laughter used to be. You watched people walk away and wondered if something inside you was broken. But what if the opposite was true? What if those separations were actually protection? What if I was quietly removing voices that would confuse you? People who would slow you down, relationships that would drain the strength you need for what is coming. You thought you were being pushed out, but I was pulling you forward. Because where I am taking you, your identity must be rooted in me, not in approval. Your confidence must come from purpose, not popularity. Your peace must be stronger than the fear of being alone. And look at you now. You survived the separation. You learned to stand when no one was clapping. You learned to move forward even when the room became quiet. And that strength, that quiet resilience growing inside you, that is exactly what your assignment requires. So do not mourn every door that closed. Do not carry shame for every place that rejected you. Those exits were not the end of your story. They were divine direction. Because sometimes the clearest sign that you are stepping into your destiny is that you can no longer stay where you used to belong. Chosen one, I know how lonely those seasons felt. There were days when the silence around you became almost unbearable. Rooms felt emptier, conversations became shorter, and the people you once leaned on seemed distant or completely gone. You walked through life carrying questions that no one could answer. Why does it feel like I'm doing this alone? Why does it seem like no one understands what I'm going through? Why does my path look so different from everyone else's? You saw others surrounded by support, recognition, and opportunity, while your journey felt quiet, hidden, and uncertain. And sometimes, in those moments of deep solitude, your heart whispered something painful. Maybe I've been forgotten. But chosen one, you were never forgotten, not for a single moment. While you were walking through those quiet seasons, something powerful was happening that your eyes could not see. Heaven was moving, slowly, carefully, strategically. While you felt like you were standing on uncertain ground, I was preparing the ground beneath your feet. Every delay had a reason. Every pause had a purpose. Every quiet season was making space for something greater than what you could see at the time. You thought nothing was happening, but doors were being positioned. Paths were being aligned. People you have not even met yet were being prepared to cross your path. And while all of this was unfolding behind the scenes, I was also working within you. Because the destiny placed on your life requires more than opportunity. It requires depth. It requires patience. It requires strength that only grows in moments when you feel like no one is watching. In those lonely nights when you questioned everything, you were being shaped. Your character was being refined. Your faith was being strengthened. Your heart was learning how to stand, even when it felt like the world had grown quiet around you. Chosen one, understand this truth. The greatest preparations rarely happen in front of crowds. They happen in hidden places. They happen in silence. They happen when the world assumes nothing important is taking place. But heaven knows better. Because while you were walking through what felt like isolation, the foundation of your future was quietly being built. Step by step, piece by piece, moment by moment. And one day, soon, the same ground that once felt empty beneath your feet will begin to reveal what was prepared for you all along. Opportunities will appear where there was once uncertainty. Connections will form where there was once silence. Doors will open that you never even knew existed. And when it happens, you will realize something that will change how you see every lonely season you survived. You were never walking on empty ground. You were walking on a foundation that heaven itself was preparing just for you. And now that foundation is almost ready. So stand firm, chosen one, because the ground beneath your feet is stronger than you think, and it has been prepared with your destiny in mind. Chosen one, you've felt it, haven't you? The pressure that suddenly increased. The battles that seemed to come from every direction at once. Problems appearing where there were none before. Tension in places that once felt peaceful. You tried to move forward, and something pushed back. You tried to find rest, and new worries appeared. Some days it felt like the moment you solved one problem, 3 more rose up to replace it. And deep inside, a quiet question kept echoing in your mind. Why is it getting harder? Why now? You thought maybe you were doing something wrong. Maybe you made the wrong move. Maybe you were going in the wrong direction. Maybe the struggle meant you were failing. But chosen one, listen carefully. The increase in pressure is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that you are getting closer. Closer to the door that has been prepared for you. Closer to the breakthrough that has been forming behind the scenes. Closer to the moment when everything that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Darkness does not panic over people who are standing still. It reacts when someone begins moving toward their purpose. And whether you realized it or not, you started moving. You started healing. You started thinking differently. You started refusing to stay in the same cycles that once kept you trapped. And the moment that shift began inside you, resistance began to rise around you. Because your breakthrough is not just about success. It is about impact. It is about influence. It is about the lives that will be changed because you refuse to quit. Chosen one. There are people you have not even met yet who will one day find strength in your story. Your survival will give them hope. Your voice will give them courage. Your journey will show them that it is possible to rise after being knocked down again and again. And that kind of impact makes the darkness nervous. That is why the pressure intensified. That is why the attacks became louder. But understand this truth. The fiercest resistance often appears right before the breakthrough. Think about how many times you almost stopped. How many nights you sat in silence wondering if it was even worth continuing. How many moments you felt exhausted from fighting battles that no one else could see. Yet somehow you kept going. Not because it was easy, but because something inside you refused to surrender. That strength you feel, even when you are tired, even when you doubt yourself. That strength is not random. It is the evidence that you were built for this moment. And if the pressure has increased around you lately, it may be because the door you have been waiting for is closer than you realize. So do not misinterpret the battle. Do not assume the struggle means you are being pushed backward. Sometimes the resistance is proof that you are standing right at the edge of something powerful. Hold your ground, chosen one. Because what you are fighting through right now may be the final storm before the breakthrough you have been praying for finally arrives. Chosen one, the silence around you was not an accident. I know how it felt when the noise faded, when the crowds thinned, when the voices that once surrounded you slowly disappeared. At first, you thought something was wrong. You wondered if you had been pushed aside, if you had been forgotten, if maybe you simply didn't matter as much as you once believed. Because humans are not built to enjoy isolation. You are created for connection, for belonging, for being seen. And when those things suddenly vanish, the heart begins to question everything. You questioned your worth. You questioned your path. You questioned whether the journey you were walking was even leading anywhere at all. But chosen one, what felt like abandonment was actually protection. What looked like isolation was actually formation. Because before I send someone into their assignment, I must first shape who they truly are. And identity cannot be built on the shifting opinions of people. People will praise you one moment and misunderstand you the next. They will celebrate you when you are useful and distance themselves when your growth makes them uncomfortable. If your identity depends on their approval, it will always be fragile. So I brought you into a quieter place. A place where the noise of other voices began to fade. A place where the expectations of others could no longer define you. And in that silence, something deeper began to happen. At first it felt uncomfortable. You were used to measuring yourself through the reactions of others, through acceptance, through recognition, through belonging. But when those mirrors disappeared, you were forced to face something far more important: your true identity. Not the version of you shaped by people's expectations, not the version of you molded by fear of rejection, but the version of you that I created long before anyone else had an opinion. In the quiet, you began to discover your strength. You began to hear your own thoughts clearly. You began to recognize gifts, insights, and resilience you never noticed before. Chosen one. The isolation was not meant to shrink you. It was meant to reveal you. Because the destiny placed on your life requires confidence that cannot be shaken by criticism. It requires clarity that cannot be drowned out by the crowd. It requires a spirit that knows who it is, even when no one else understands. And that kind of identity is not built in busy rooms full of voices. It is built in quiet places, where the soul learns to listen. So do not resent the seasons when you felt alone. Those were the moments when the strongest parts of you were being formed. Those were the moments when your identity was being anchored in something deeper than approval. And now, chosen one, you are no longer the same person who once needed the crowd to feel secure. You have learned to stand. You have learned to trust the voice within you. And that quiet strength, that unshakable sense of who you are becoming, is exactly what your destiny requires. Chosen one, I saw every tear. The ones you wiped away quickly so no one would ask questions. The ones that fell silently in the dark when the world was asleep. The ones that came when the pressure became too heavy to carry alone. You tried to stay strong. You told yourself to keep going. You told yourself that tomorrow would feel different. But there were moments when the weight of everything you carried broke through your defenses. Moments when the pain you held inside finally found its way out. And when those tears fell, you wondered something painful. Does anyone see this? Does anyone care? Do these tears even matter? Chosen one, every single one mattered. Not a single tear fell unnoticed. Not a single moment of pain was ignored. Because those tears were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of your heart refusing to become cold. Evidence that despite the betrayal, the disappointment, the loneliness, you still cared, you still hoped. You still believed that something better was possible. And heaven does not waste that kind of pain. While you thought those tears were simply expressions of sorrow, something deeper was happening. Every tear carried a prayer. Every cry carried a release. Every moment of brokenness opened space for something stronger to grow inside you. Pain has a way of shaping people. Some allow it to turn their hearts bitter. Some allow it to close their spirits completely. But you, even when you were hurting, you kept searching for light. You kept trying to understand. You kept choosing to rise again. And those tears became part of your transformation. They softened the parts of your heart that needed compassion. They deepened the wisdom that now lives inside your spirit. They created a strength that only people who have truly suffered can carry. Chosen one, the tears you once tried to hide are now part of your power. Because one day you will speak to someone who feels exactly the way you once felt. Someone who believes they are alone. Someone who believes their pain has no meaning. And when you speak, they will hear something real. not empty words, not shallow encouragement, but truth born from experience. Your tears gave you the ability to understand suffering in a way others cannot. Your tears gave you empathy. Your tears gave you depth. Your tears gave you the authority to lift others who are still trapped in the darkness you once survived. That is how heaven turns pain into purpose. Nothing you endured was wasted. Nothing you cried over disappeared into nothingness. Every tear became a seed of strength, a seed of wisdom, a seed of compassion. And now those seeds are beginning to grow into something powerful. So do not be ashamed of the moments when you cried. Do not believe the lie that those tears made you weak. They were part of the process that shaped who you are becoming. And now, chosen one, the very pain that once made you fall to your knees is becoming the weapon that will help you rise. Chosen one, listen to me carefully. Do you remember the voices, the ones that whispered you couldn't do it? The ones that laughed quietly when you tried? The ones that rolled their eyes, dismissed your dreams, or turned their backs when you needed support most? You heard them every day. You carried their doubts like stones in your pockets. Every comment, every glance, every quiet judgment weighed on your spirit. You felt it. You felt their disbelief. And some days you almost believed it yourself. But hear me now. Chosen one, those voices were never stronger than what I placed inside you. The very power they denied exists within you. The very purpose they doubted is burning inside your soul. And every moment you persevered, every time you kept moving forward, despite their doubts, you were preparing for this hour. That hour is coming. And when it arrives, the same people who refused to see your value, the same people who counted you out, will witness a reality they could not even imagine. They will see a life transformed. They will see a strength they thought impossible. They will see someone who refused to be defined by judgment, disappointment, or disbelief. Do you understand, chosen one? The power I've placed in you is unstoppable because it is divine. It does not rely on recognition. It does not bend to criticism. It cannot be diminished by rejection. Those voices, they are the measure of how far you have come. The louder their doubt, the greater the work I am doing in you. The more they scoff, the closer you are to standing in a light they cannot comprehend. And when that day comes, when your breakthrough unfolds before them, you will not be angry. You will not seek revenge. You will simply stand and let the fullness of your destiny speak for itself. Because they doubted what only heaven could see. They dismissed what only I could empower. And in that moment, their disbelief will have no power against the life I've built for you. Chosen one, remember this. The world's inability to understand your journey is not a failure. It is proof that you are walking a path they cannot follow. It is proof that you are meant for something greater than their expectations. And it is proof that every trial, every whisper of doubt, every door that closed was a preparation for this victory. So hold fast, rise with courage, step boldly into the calling I've given you, because soon, those same voices, the ones that doubted you, will have no choice but to witness the power, the authority, and the glory I have placed upon your life. And when they do, Chosen one, you will see that every moment of disbelief they cast at you was merely a spotlight for the miracle that was always meant to shine. Chosen one, hear me clearly. I know how it felt when the world seemed to rise against you, when doors slammed in your face, when promises were broken, when people you trusted turned cold, when the very ground beneath your feet seemed to crumble, and everything you built appeared to vanish. You thought it was over. You thought you were broken beyond repair. You thought the pain meant you had failed. But chosen one, that is exactly the lie the enemy wanted you to believe. What tried to destroy you was never meant to end you. It was meant to prepare you. It was meant to position you. It was meant to elevate you beyond anything you ever imagined. Every obstacle, every betrayal, every heartbreak, every setback. They were not punishments. They were markers, signs that the path you were walking was shifting. Because before I can lift someone to heights they were destined for, I must first remove what is holding them back. I must refine. I must stretch. I must strengthen. The trials you endured, they were chisels in my hand, carving away fear, removing doubt, sculpting courage, shaping a spirit that cannot be shaken. You felt the weight of the struggle, the sting of disappointment, the bite of betrayal, and yet, through it all, you survived. That survival is proof of your readiness. That endurance is evidence of your calling. That perseverance is the key to the doors I have prepared for you. Chosen one, every moment that tried to break you was actually building momentum. Every attack that sought to stop you was setting you on a higher trajectory. Every person who doubted you was unwittingly clearing the stage for your elevation. And soon you will step into a new season. A season where your influence will be undeniable. A season where the very things that tried to hold you down will now serve as testimonies of your rise. A season where your faith, your resilience, and your courage will shine brighter than the darkness that once threatened you. Do not despise the struggle. Do not resent the pain. Do not mourn the losses. Because chosen one, those things were not enemies. They were angels in disguise. They were tools in my hand. They were the wind beneath your wings, even when you could not feel it. And when you finally rise, when the elevation comes, you will see it clearly. The very trials that shook your world were the same trials that prepared your spirit to soar. The very pain that bent you was the same fire that forged you. The very forces that tried to destroy you were secretly aligning your destiny. Stand tall, chosen one, your elevation is coming. Your breakthrough is ready, and the world will see what heaven always knew. That nothing and no one could stop the purpose I have placed on your life. Chosen one, do you realize how many times I've stepped in on your behalf? Do you remember the nights you thought you were alone? The moments when danger seemed to lurk just around the corner, and yet nothing happened. The times when people or circumstances could have destroyed you, and yet somehow you survived. Those were not coincidences. Those were my hands, unseen but unshakable, holding you steady when the world tried to pull you under. You walked through life believing you were exposed. You thought every misstep could be the end. You believed every threat was too much to endure. But chosen one, I've been shielding you. Every betrayal that never reached your heart, Every trap that failed to close, every plan formed to harm you, I intercepted. Even when you felt vulnerable, I was the fortress around you. Even when you thought you were surrounded, I was the army standing between you and the enemy. Even when fear whispered that all hope was gone, I whispered back, and you survived. Do you see now? The battles you never saw were just as real as the ones you faced. The attacks that were hidden, the traps that were unseen, the hands reaching for your life that never touched you, were all part of my protection. I've been guarding the destiny I placed in your hands. I've been preserving the calling that darkness tried to snatch. I've been walking beside you in silence, unseen by the world, orchestrating victory long before you even knew you were in a fight. Chosen one, it's easy to think the struggle you see is all there is. It's easy to measure life by the pain that reaches your eyes, but I've been working in ways your human heart cannot comprehend. Every near miss, every whisper of danger avoided, every shadow that never fell on you is a testament to my faithfulness. And now, because of my protection, you are still standing, still breathing, still moving forward, still ready for the assignment I placed before you. No weapon formed against you has succeeded. No scheme designed to stop you has prevailed, because the battles you never saw, I fought for you. The attacks you never knew about, I defeated. The plans that could have destroyed you, I turned into your advantage. Chosen one, it is time to recognize the unseen victories. It is time to step boldly, knowing that my protection has never left you. It is time to rise with confidence, because the same God who has shielded you in silence is now preparing to show the world your triumph. Do not fear what is ahead. Do not tremble at what you cannot see, for the same hand that kept you safe in the shadows will lift you into the light of your destiny. Stand firm, chosen one. You have been protected. You have been preserved. And the life I have prepared for you is unstoppable. Chosen one, do you remember that moment? The one when everything fell apart, when doors slammed shut, when promises shattered, when people you trusted walked away, when the weight of life pressed so heavily on your shoulders that you thought you could not go on. Do you remember the hopelessness, the despair, the whispered thoughts in your mind telling you, it's over. There's nothing left for me. My time has passed. I want you to hear me now, chosen one. That moment, that exact moment, was not the end. It was the beginning. The very instant you believed it was over, your destiny began to rise. Because in the human mind, the last thing we often see is the first thing heaven is planning. When the world whispers, "You are finished," I am quietly saying, "You are ready." When the storm screams that it has defeated you, I am moving the pieces of your life into alignment. The darkness tried to stop you. The trials tried to break you. The betrayals tried to convince you to give up. And yet, in that very moment of despair, I was planting seeds, seeds of victory, seeds of breakthrough, seeds of a future that only I could imagine for you. You see, chosen one, every ending you feared, every door that closed, every plan that failed, was creating space for something greater. The moment you thought you had nothing left, I was readying everything for you. Your rise was hidden in the ashes of your struggle. Your breakthrough was cloaked in the moments you could not understand. Do not despise the season of endings. Do not mourn the times you thought it was too late. Do not measure your life by what seems lost, because the truth is, when everything seemed gone, that was the pivot point. The instant the impossible happened in heaven's timing, the moment your destiny whispered, "I am coming for you, chosen one." All the trials, all the pain, all the tears, all the nights you spent asking, "Why me?" They were preparing you for this. They were shaping you for the moment when the world would see what only heaven has known all along. And now, chosen one, the life that once felt shattered is now the stage for your glory. The purpose that seemed delayed is now breaking through. The destiny that felt distant is now unfolding before your eyes. The moment you thought it was over was never the end. It was the starting line. It was the ignition. It was the awakening of the life I created for you to live, full of power, influence, and divine favor. Rise up, chosen one. Step into the destiny that was waiting for you in that moment. Walk boldly, knowing that what you thought was the end was actually the very beginning of everything heaven prepared for you. Your story is not finished. Your rise has just begun, and the world will witness a glory that only you could carry, because you survived the impossible and stepped into what I have always called you to. Chosen one, do you feel it now? Do you feel the stirring deep inside? The quiet pull that something greater is awakening? The moments you once thought were meaningless? The pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak, they were never wasted. Every trial you endured, every tear you cried, every door that slammed shut was preparing you. Preparing you for something the world cannot touch. Preparing you for a destiny that is far bigger than anything you have imagined. Do you see now? Even in your darkest hours, I was there, invisible, unshakable, moving behind the scenes, shielding you from battles you never even noticed, turning what the enemy meant for harm into the foundation of your rise. Every setback was a setup. Every disappointment was a divine course correction. Every season of silence was a secret workshop of your spirit, molding courage, faith, and resilience into your soul. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough. The pain that once crushed you is now fueling your power. The struggles that once felt endless were the exact instruments that activated your destiny. Look back for a moment, chosen one, and you will see it. Every impossibility, every near defeat, every heartbreak was not the end. It was the hand of heaven moving you into alignment with purpose. Rise now, feel it coursing through your veins. The unseen protection, the divine preparation, the silent battles fought for you, all converging for this very moment. Your pain was never meaningless. Your suffering was never random. It was the forge, and now you are ready. Your destiny is awakening, and nothing, no rejection, no attack, no shadow of doubt can stop it. Chosen one, your pain had purpose, and the world will soon witness what heaven has been quietly preparing all along. Chosen one, lift your head. The storms you faced, the battles that shook your soul, the moments you thought you could not go on, none of it was wasted. I never left you, not for a second. Every tear, every struggle, every lonely night, I was there moving behind the scenes, preparing the ground for your rise. Now the chains are breaking, the shadows are fading. Your breakthrough is here, your purpose, Your calling, your destiny, long delayed, long tested, is roaring to life. Stand tall, chosen one. Step forward with courage. The power I placed within you cannot be stopped. The light I planted in your heart cannot be extinguished. Today you rise. Today, your faith becomes your victory. Today, your life declares to the world you were chosen. You were prepared, and you were born to triumph.